Welcome to our channel. This is JC Rock and Metal Reviews. My name is John, and today I have a classic album review. This album is celebrating its 45th anniversary, and it is called Sad Wings of Destiny by the band Judas Priest. Before I begin, if you haven't subscribed, please subscribe. I do rock and metal reviews, rankings, and more, and I upload on average one video per day. Sad Wings of Destiny is the second studio album by Judas Priest. It was released on March 23rd, 1976. This album is often considered one of the first true heavy metal albums, and it set the blueprint for many heavy metal albums to come. This is also the album where Judas Priest cemented their musical style. Now, before anything, I'd like to talk about the album cover. What an amazing piece of artwork. This album cover was painted by Patrick Woodruff. He's an English artist, and the painting is called Fallen Angel. It has a struggling angel who is grounded. You know, he is surrounded by flames, and he's actually wearing this three-pronged cross, and this is the symbol that would later become part of the Judas Priest logo. Patrick Woodruff is a fantasy artist, and he also painted the debut album by the band Stratovarius called Fright Night in 1989. This album is filled with riffs and shows off Rob Halford's wide range of vocals. The band's intention was to capture the sounds of popular bands at that time, such as Queen, Deep Purple, and Black Sabbath, and the result was one of the greatest heavy metal albums of the 70s. The first song is Victim of Changes. This is an almost 8-minute heavy metal epic. I've heard people compare this song to Child in Time by Deep Purple. You can hear Rob Halford show off his vocal range, and there are many riffs on the song, and these riffs will be very influential on bands to come. There's also some amazing lead guitar work on the song. There's a really cool breakdown at the near 5-minute mark. You hear clean guitar and bass playing these like ascending and descending riffs. And you also hear a little bit of a Led Zeppelin influence during this part. What's cool about this is that it goes into a soft part and then builds up into this heavy riff. It almost reminds me of Metallica's Master of Puppets, just 10 years earlier. Rob Halford also shows off some falsetto screams at the end of the song, so this is one of their classics. After that is The Ripper. Starts off with a quick lead guitar riff, goes right into the verse section with a very a chugging rhythm. I really like the riff in the midsection around the 1.5-minute mark, where they have this cool ascending riff. There's some pretty cool guitar effects in the background on the song. And the song is about Jack the Ripper. And another little tidbit of information, it was featured in the 2011 movie Bad Teacher with Cameron Diaz. After that, we have Dreamer Deceiver. So this is a very different type of song for the band. It starts off with a very soft guitar passage. Rob Halford is singing the intro verse. This is one of those rare songs when Rob Halford sings in a lower register, almost like a crooning style. You know, he goes into his signature high-pitched vocals later towards the middle of the song. The guitar playing has a pretty cool classical guitar influence. There's also a very melodic electric guitar solo on this track. And this song goes directly into the song Deceiver, which is basically a continuation. But this song, it's a mid-tempo rocker. We got some galloping guitars in the verse. And if you deconstruct the rhythm guitar in this section, it almost forms a template for speed metal. The song ends with a classical acoustic guitar that was similar to Dreamer Deceiver. After that is Prelude. So this is a 2-minute piano-driven instrumental, very reminiscent of classical piano playing. There's some lead guitar parts. Creates a really haunting atmosphere. This song sets the stage for the next song. So the next song is called Tyrant. This song is a classic Judas Priest style. There's some cool echo effects in the verse, some cool backing vocals in the chorus. There are a lot of tempo changes on the song. I thought that was pretty cool. You hear a little bit of Black Sabbath in the riffs, And you also hear a little bit of like Deep Purple in the guitar solo. After that is a song called Genocide. This is another heavy rocker, and this one has a very heavy like Deep Purple influence, specifically like the songs like Women from Tokyo and Burn. This song also includes the phrase sin after sin. It is spoken during the song, and this would eventually become the title of their next album. After that is the song Epitaph. The song is a soft piano-driven ballad. Rob Halford is singing in his like low, like crooning style. Again, something we don't hear very often. You also hear some like falsetto vocals by Rob Halford that also adds some like texture to the song. They use a lot of like vocal layering in the song, and they even said that this song was inspired by the band Queen. Epitaph goes right into Island of Domination. The song is another heavy rocker. It has some heavy riffs. The song is a little reminiscent of Black Sabbath. Has a really cool breakdown in the 2.5 minute mark. The song just like slows down and goes into this really heavy like doom metal style. The riffs are just so thick, and Rob Halford's voice is in this song gets a little very high pitched, but very like melodic. And that is it. In conclusion, this is like a very underrated album. It gets like foreshadowed by the more popular releases. The first time I ever heard this album was about 5 years ago. And to be honest, when I was younger, listening to this band, I didn't even like know this album existed. I think it deserves a lot more recognition as being like one of the first true heavy metal albums. You know, a lot of people think of like Black Sabbath as being the first true heavy metal band, or they think of albums like Rainbow's Rising, but this is one of the first true great heavy metal albums from the 70s. If you're new to the band and you haven't heard it, definitely check it out. It'll give you a taste of some of like Judas Priest's like earlier works and how their sound developed. So definitely give this album a listen. That is it. Let me know what you think of Sad Wings of Destiny. So have you heard this album? How do you think it stands up against the rest of Judas Priest and the rest of their albums? Let's get a conversation going. So we want to know your thoughts. So let's get the comments going. And coming up next, I will be following up on my March Madness week number 2. A couple more surprises coming up. So stick around and I'll see you in the next one.